playing video games. Welcome once again to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Daslow, and with me, as always...
Hello, Filthy Animals. It's Ben Vanel here, and joining us, rounding out the trio on the end of the table, the big man himself.
It's me, Adam. I was trying to think of a funny name to say.
Sorry for opening with such a hardball.
Yeah. No, I know. I was like, I'm going to say a silly name, but the only name I could think of, I realised just before saying it, luckily, was just a person that I know.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't a funny name at all.
Can't wait to find out off air who this person was. Make a note of this.
It's Scrambulous Frankston.
Steven Spielberg.
Oh.
I've got his number in my phone. It's 1 because he's the best director.
Yeah.
Ben, you just did it. You just sort of did the same thing. Was it like because you ended up saying Frankston,
yes.
which it sounded like you got halfway through and went, "Oh, that's an actual place."
Yeah, damn
So if I put a
straight.
little pause in the mid, Frankston,
Well, no,
can you imagine?
I realised that I'd said Frank, a real name. I was like,
right.
well, I got to clear this up.
By instead saying a real place.
Yeah.
We used to have like whatever the opposite of an improv game is that we would do. We realized
Something good.
Like
Yes.
everyone in
You win the game, Tommy.
whenever we were trying to come up with names for characters, writing Chimp Cop, a fun sketch group that we do.
Yeah. Jim Cop being the only funny name we have thought of.
Yeah, the rest are all like John Huggins. Huggins is actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But we realized we were terrible at coming up with names on the fly. So you'd point at someone and go like, come up with a name. And every time you'd be like, the first one's easy. You can go like Graham.
Yes.
And then it was like Graham Stronston.
Yeah.
Come up with a name.
Klimpo Crafts.
Frankie Jonalmunger.
Yeah, okay. That's not bad, actually.
Come up with a name.
Craig Sanson.
It's really hard in the
It is
middle of
hard.
nowhere.
I might start doing this to strangers.
It's good.
You know,
It's
just
good
anyone
shit.
walking towards me, just, you know, make eye contact from a bit of a distance.
Yeah.
Then as we're, you know, right about to pass each other. Come up with a name.
Billy Scripp.
That's actually good.
Yeah, Billy Script's cool.
Scrip could pass for a real name.
I was thinking Billy because I was thinking what you were proposing was very Billy on the street of you.
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. And Scrip sounds sort of close to street.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a good game. I can't wait to
Yes.
play this IRL.
Use it
with
in
other people.
when you write your own stand-up comedy show. If you have to put a fake name in there.
So what? Say, look at myself in the mirror and
Correct.
go, come up with a name.
Yes. Bloody
Right.
Mary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, I'm going to feel
Oh, here we
very
go.
self-conscious during this episode because someone posted in our Patreon Facebook group that they were playing a game
Oh,
yes.
listening to this podcast. I can't remember who it was off the top of
Did
my
we
head, so
talk?
I'll look
Did
it
we
up.
talk about this?
Oh, it was Crankston Flinglow.
Did we talk about this on the show?
I don't
or-
think so.
I think
no.
we just talked about it in real life.
Right,
Yes.
I
A
get
thing
those
we can
two
no
mixed
longer
up.
determine between a podcast or...
Well, they're so similar, and it's so hard to recall
Yeah.
in my memory if there was a microphone in front of your mouth as we were talking about it.
Dude.
There's certainly something in front of his mouth.
real life's just
Know what I'm
content
saying?
you're not recording, baby.
Ain't that the truth?
But they would pause the episode...
So you'd set up a joke. You'd be like, "Oh well, I haven't seen something like that since the," and then they'd pause it.
Yeah.
and try to guess what I was going to say, which
Yeah.
is surely impossible.
Go around the circle and see if they
Yeah.
could predict. So this was like a group of them, and they'd play it. Was it camping?
They were
or
camping.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was one of our listeners basically got his friends onto the podcast, and in the midst of that, this
Yeah.
game came up.
Yeah.
Just
And
absolute strangers immediately like, "Oh, this Knox guy's weird."
I
Yeah,
reckon
I-
I can guess the joke he's going to come up
Yeah,
with.
I think that's rattled you a lot, Knox, because you don't have any idea of how utterly predictable you and all your actions are.
I'm not predictable. I'm a fucking fuck. The sort of joke I would...
How'd you go with that one, boys? did that give you a chuckle around the campsite? That is so funny, though, to be like, I assume, you know, like most people, their intent with a camping trip is, you know, get away from technology and
Yes.
get away from all our modern distractions. Let's gather around this podcast.
I know.
No, we've turned it into a camping game, so it still counts as us getting away from technology. Just bring the Xbox at that point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
you're playing a game that's you listening to a fucking podcast in a group.
Podcasting is no game.
You're not off the grid, boys. I'm sorry to say it.
No. Maybe they were forced to camp. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
They really did not want to go out into the bush.
And yeah, that's a good point. And all these other people in the group, this podcast that they're that they've been forced to get into
Yeah.
by this friend of theirs.
Yeah. Let's at least make this fun.
Has this?
I'm very honoured, though, honestly, that I've been turned into a drinking game.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
love
cool.
it.
That's
I love
always been my dream, is for someone to see me and feel as though, my mic's going wrong?
Yeah, just be careful with it.
I'm not going to be careful with shit. I'm a live wire. I'm a drinking game.
That's fine. Just don't hold the cable.
You can't control me.
Did
I've always wanted someone to see me and feel the need to take a drink.
we've put in a
way
request
ahead of you.
to get some footage of this game being played. 'cause
Footage,
we're
audio.
fascinated. Yeah. Now, do you feel like this has perhaps altered the way in which you're going to tell jokes on this show?
Yeah.
And follow-up question: Are you up for like any kind of match fixing here? Are you for sale? If one of these friends came to you and went, "Here's a joke I'd like you to say on the show,"
A little bit of behind the scenes. I pre-plan every joke that I'm going to tell on here.
we write for you.
Yeah,
This shit is
yeah.
heavily scripted.
Yeah.
That's why every episode is so tight and structured.
Yeah.
A lot like
Anyway.
my butthole.
Hell
great.
yes.
How'd you do on
Right.
that one, boys? Anyone have to take a snifter
Oh.
of my butthole?
Love that we've got a new catchphrase on this now. How'd you go with that one, boys?
That's the new T-shirt.
But hey, maybe there's some people listening who, if you think that sounds like a good drinking game, let's get this thing. You know what? Let's make this more popular than cards. What is it?
Cards Against
Cards
Humanity?
Against Humanity.
Just cards.
Cards,
Just
yeah.
cards.
Let's make this more popular than poker.
We want to
Poker. I barely know how to tell a joke.
Oh,
Now I'm throwing in curveballs.
some red herrings there.
Nice.
Gonna
I
get
don't
some-
like this at all.
I'm getting some campers drunk. And then afterwards, I'm going to do a podcast.
Oh, God.
I would
That
love
one you
this
could've
to
got.
become more popular than Cards Against Humanity.
I'd like this to become bigger than Jesus, and I'd like that on record.
Yep. Yep.
I don't reckon the Beatles would have got in trouble if they were like, I'd like to be bigger than Jesus.
Yeah,
No, do
that's
the
a good
voice.
point. I'd like to be better than Jesus.
Oh, who said that? A fuckhead? That was no accent.
That was John Lennon. I'd like to be better than Jesus.
Lennon just has a cold underwater.
Yeah.
I'd like to be bigger than Jesus.
Anyway, this is the beginning of what me and Ben have always known is the eventual outcome for Adam Knox.
Yes.
You becoming a worldwide cult figure.
And
Yeah.
then I'm going to burn the whole place down.
Not cult
people
leader,
do. I'm
cult
no.
figure.
I'm becoming a cult leader. I'm going
Yeah.
to fuck your wife.
Okay. That's on record now.
As long as at some stage you kill yourself.
Well, I don't think they end up dying, do they? Or do they? I don't know a lot
The
about
cult
cults.
leaders, I don't
I think
really
Jim
know.
Jones did, didn't he?
Jim Jones did, but I don't really know whether that was all, like if that was his plan all along or whether he just initiated those proceedings because they killed that congressman.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, well, it's all over anyway.
Sure.
We've all got to go. I don't know if there's any record of him ever going like, or knowing like, we'll get to all this eventually.
Were they the Kool-Aid ones?
Yeah.
They're the Kool-Aid ones
Yeah, right.
in the middle of
the
the jungle.
sneakers and yeah.
Before they did that,
No, they're
it
not
used to be-
the Sneakers is the Branch Davidians.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say before they all killed themselves, it used to be called Lame Aid. But then that was so cool that it's called Kool-Aid. But
That's good.
No, it needed the momentum.
How'd you go with that one, boys?
Yeah, the Branch Davidians is the Nikes, the Heaven's Gate.
Right.
And I believe that was always their plan because they're going to go up to meet aliens
Yeah.
up in the sky or some
Yeah, I
shit.
think
I don't know
they're
what the
aliens.
Nikes has to do with it.
It's cool shoes.
Just good shoes.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence that
If
they
you're
all
trying
have
to
the
get to
exact same kit.
space, those shoes help you jump the highest.
Oh, yeah. Air Jordans.
Air Jordans.
It's been a while since we've had a good, newsworthy big cult.
I guess. I mean, there's been a lot of documentaries recently about them.
So they're back in vogue.
Yes.
So it feels like the time is right.
I'd love to join one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be in one.
Yeah.
Most like kind of cult or whatever based documentary I've seen, I've watched at a point in my life where I've gone, I'm the way, like with what's going on in my life right now, the initial thing where they get you in,
Yeah.
if someone came to me right now and said those things, I would be in.
Absolutely.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
The first
Yeah.
bit where it's just like, this is basically just some structure to your day.
Yeah,
Exactly.
totally.
Yeah.
That seems
Here's a
pretty
bit of
good.
help. Here's
Yeah.
a bit of guidance. Here's some answers.
Yeah.
Scientology. I watched that Scientology doco
Yeah,
and was
same.
just was in the middle of comedy festival and went, yep, I need help. I need answers. I need
Get
someone
out
to
of
show
here,
me the way.
Louis Theroux. Stop wrecking it. I've got a good thing going.
Yeah, this is a fucking beat up, man. They're just good people.
Yeah. Steve Bennett gave you a personality test and you need help.
But yeah, look, if you're wanting to start a cult, let us know because
Absolutely.
we'd be into it.
And
We'd join.
Maybe we should start one. If you want to join one of ours, just let us know that as well.
Well, I
Our
feel
Patreon
like,
is at patreon.com.
well, I feel like
Yes, it is. It's a Patreon.
I know.
all of those ones do start from all the cults kind of start from sort of humble beginnings, you know, where it's like just it's with well intentioned. So I feel like there's podcasts out there that will eventually become cults that already have the early makings.
Yeah. What are your top 5 potential cult podcasts?
Cumtown is already named after a town, which I feel like that's part. Every second cult is like named after the place where it's from.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
And-
Cumtown for sure.
And they have a ravenously addicted fan base.
Yep. It'd be cool if one of the many podcasts that's about cult leaders itself spawned
yeah.
a cult.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Would it be cool?
I think so. It'd be interesting.
Yeah,
at the
it'd
very
be funny.
least.
It used to be called lame, but then after I joined the cult, it was called cool.
There we go.
Doesn't even mean
That one had
anything.
momentum and it was still shit. But boys, we got news to get to.
Yeah?
Believe it or not.
New cult?
New cult.
Yeah.
A cult video game would be good. Oh, I guess that's what
Far Cry 5.
that's Far Cry 5 was. Yeah.
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 But where you play as the cult leader.
Yes, that'd be cool.
Like kind of cult tycoon.
Oh, I like this. Like a God sim.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Like I think I'm God sim.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm
You
into
can-
that.
You can never win, though.
How do you
ending is
mean?
it just deletes your save.
Yeah.
Is it a thing where you're just it's constantly resetting, but you're going for the high score of how many people you have in the cult by the time that
It all
Congress
falls apart.
tries to shut you down, and so you have to all kill yourselves?
Yes. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
Someone get onto that.
I hate this idea.
Why?
I think it's a sad video game. I want to play as a video game.
Oh, yeah, because no other video games have people dying in them.
No, they don't.
Call of Duty #1 fan.
I'm a Kirby boy, and that's all I'll ever. When he eats people, they love it.
Oh, dear.
You know what has a cult following? The Branch Davidians.
Yes.
Let's talk about them some more. No, they're like, so some news
Are you
broke.
trying to be coy about this segue?
No, some news. This is a clear segue. Some news
Yes.
broke before we started doing this recording. I guess last night, which is before we started doing this recording.
Oh, yes.
Falls under the umbrella of before.
Yeah. Some news broke before we started recording. A sequel to Super Mario Brothers is coming down the pipeline.
I feel like sort of in the most of the 2000s, at least the early to mid 2000s, a lot of people were like, why is there no Harry Potter RPG? How come that never happened? It seems like you go up through a school, it's Persona,
Yep.
but Harry Potter. Why hasn't anybody done that?
Yes.
Well, in 2018, the year of Harry Potter, it has been revealed that 2 years from now,
Yeah.
there will be a Harry Potter RPG.
Yes.
Yeah, so it hasn't
No.
sort of super been revealed. Some supposedly leaked footage of a Harry Potter game, sort of filmed off screen.
Yep.
Almost as if by magic.
Ooh,
No.
What's Harry Potter about, by the way?
but yeah, so yeah, some footage showed up online. It looks to be a kind of open worldy kind of RPG sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it shows like a character creator.
Yep.
It shows people walking around like Harry Potter looking towns. Not
Yeah.
necessarily Hogwarts.
No.
More like towns.
Yeah. Like, what's the town in it called?
Scrugglebussin.
Grunthorpe.
It'll be called something like that.
Avery.
Or it'll be like a word that has been like Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
It'll be like
My
perpendicular alley.
I would get the impression that it's probably set at Hogwarts, but it's like
Straight.
after the time that Harry Potter and his friends have like, left.
Well,
so you're there. You're attending the school in a post Harry Potter. Harry Potter is in this world, but it's post him being
Yeah.
at the school.
I
Yeah.
think maybe the opposite, that it's before, because all the stuff they're putting out now is like the Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic
Oh, okay.
Mr. Fox.
And that's
where
all-
to find them. Yeah.
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 And that's all prequels. And this looked to me...
Oh, it is too.
Along similar lines to that, the design of the characters that you see briefly in this looked... One of them looked like Eddie Redmayne.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was like a bundle of scarves in the corner, which I assume is Johnny Depp.
Yes.
And there were... it looked to me along the same lines of the and that would make sense that it would be that because that you tie
Those
it
are the
into
most current. Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of do like the idea though that you're there and it's like, you know, people are just constantly talking about this godlike figure that is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But yours does make more sense.
It's crazy that like after everyone followed him, the godlike figure, he burned down Hogwarts and everyone inside of it.
Because I also would think that, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like the them tying into the current sort of world that they're putting out there in the movies and stuff does make more sense.
Well, I always forget that Harry Potter is still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That there's still Harry Potter shit coming out. It's
and wasn't that play set after it as well,
Yeah,
I think?
Plays after, yeah.
with like their kids are at Hogwarts, and I don't know what happens in it. I've never seen it because it's a play.
Yeah. Oh.
No, I like art, but
Do you like talking properly?
man, it looked more old fashioned than modern day because Harry Potter, the ones that are the main ones, are set in like the late 90s, right?
Yeah.
I think it ends
guess,
in
yeah.
like 97,
Yeah, I think that's right.
and so modern Harry Potter would look like modern day. If
So it
was
ends
up.
pre 9/11. Very convenient, J.K. Rowling. Very convenient.
She doesn't have to answer the question of why Harry Potter didn't stop it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
I guess they
That's,
don't.
you know how she's always coming out and going like, by the way, Dumbledore was gay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she hasn't come out and gone, just for the record, you know, Harry Potter would have stopped 9/11. In that universe, he actually stopped it and it never happened. So, you know, just for the credit. Just if you want to think of this magical boy wizard as any higher in your esteem, I mean, he would have like just done a spell and put up a big net in front of the Twin Towers.
But
The Pentagon, though, that would have been fucked.
Yeah, no, it can't be everywhere.
just wanted to let you all know.
Oh, he would have chased the planes down like a golden snitch. That's pretty good, right?
I do like how she keeps coming out and being like, by the way, all through book 3, Neville Longbottom had diarrhea.
Yeah.
I didn't mention it in the books, but I always intended it for it to be that way.
But that's what I mean. Like, why isn't she aiming, you know, higher with this? You know?
I reckon for the exact reasons as how it felt to hear you describe what you just thought of is why she hasn't said anything. But yeah, there's not a lot of information because this was like an accident, like a proper leak. Somebody filmed this off of a screen, and it looked like a put together trailer.
Yes, it did. Yeah,
that will come out at some point.
Yeah.
I assume at the Game Awards is the next sort of thing at the end of the year.
I would assume an hour before we upload this.
yeah.
So all of these details, all of this speculation will be 100% confirmed.
Absolutely.
Or denied.
Yeah, it was planned for the Game Awards, but now that it's leaked, they've rushed it out, and we haven't seen it.
I mean, it is weird. Yeah, I don't know. It is weird that it's like, you know, nearly 24. Like, you would sort of think, like, well, you just jump on it and get it out now.
Well,
Although
like
I guess it helps them to have speculation and people talking about it.
And that's what they did with Rage. They'll probably do it at some point.
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers issued the takedown on the videos that were up of this.
They are continuing to do so. It's annoying.
Yeah, because we really had to struggle to find one of it to watch. But
Yeah.
Well, I watched a thing where it was like, you guys watched as well, and it was like a guy going, now I'm not going to put too much of the footage in here because, you know, I don't want to like tread on copyright, but, you know, if you want to see it, just put in Harry Potter game leaked footage and that should bring it up. It's like, no, that's what I put it in, and the first result is this video, you fucking idiot.
I reckon the two Warner Brothers have thought of this.
Are we in a fucking Christopher Nolan film? The time is just looping back in on itself. We're trapped, boys. We're trapped.
The footage was, brief.
Yep.
Character creator, people walking around, someone petting a dragon.
Looked very just generic third-person action game, sort of. Didn't really look necessarily like full RPG.
Maybe like Witcher-ish.
Yeah,
I guess, just walking around. And so the theory is because Warner Brothers are issuing the takedowns that it's one of their studios, and Avalanche is the one that people are like, I reckon it's them who are the Mad Max people.
Yes.
They're working on Rage 2 as well?
Yes. And Just Cause, and a bunch of more action games than RPGs, really.
But I've also seen Rocksteady floated
Yes,
around
me
as
too,
people
yeah.
thinking it could be them.
I think they've been something like either they said it or someone said it's definitely not them.
Right.
Okay.
And there was some reason for it that I'm not remembering. If you just type in Harry Potter leaked footage, you'll find out what that reason was.
Let's call the episode Harry Potter leaked footage.
It's probably not Rocksteady, which still leaves a question of like, what have they been working on for 3 years since the last Batman one came out?
However, a fantastic record of taking a license and actually making a good game out of it.
True.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that, boys? Pretty convincing, right?
A record of one occasion, just multiple times.
Just the very limited amount of footage that is in this thing. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I think I read like half of the books. And
half of each one.
Yeah, half of each one. Yeah. So I know how they all start. You start. So you read the first half of the first one.
Yeah.
Then you read the second half. The first half of the second one.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's recapping all the stuff that happened in the second half of the first one. You don't need to have read
That's
it.
what you
Now, where
start
that
with-
falls over is I don't know how the whole thing ends.
All right.
You read Harry Potter books in
Weirdly,
machete
it's actually
order.
the start of the first one is the end
Oh,
of
it
the
loops
series.
back around.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of a Harry Potter, like magic's cool. I like magic.
Yeah.
You can do a
Wow.
lot of stuff with that.
Yeah.
Setting it outside of just the actual Hogwartsy schooly thing could be all right. Like, I always wanted to know more about the outside world.
Yeah, those were the most interesting bits in those movies and books when
Yeah.
they're like having to go about the like being in London and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like actually
Couldn't disagree more.
Really?
I think that classic sort of going through school as an analogy, like having the magic stuff as an analogy for like growing up and all that shit.
Sure.
I think that's really interesting. Probably more interesting as a kid.
Sure, but my point is, I think it's just for me. It was always so interesting to see how the concept of magic, how that comes up against the real world.
Yeah,
and there
right.
being actual kind of like consequences for real world people. Muggles, I believe they call them in the books. Kind of them discovering what's going on.
Right.
That was very interesting to me, and yeah, I agree. Like all the school stuff is great, but it's also like
the school stuff's more like the typical storytelling stuff, I guess. Yeah.
It's a different vibe when they're out in the real world because it's like, oh, there's high level real world stakes here, whereas in the school it's like, well, it's all kind of just self-contained.
And I was always interested in like, what does a 35-year-old wizard do?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what are
Yeah.
their jobs?
Yeah.
And they can use
They
magic.
work at the Ministry of Magic.
But do they all?
Yeah, I
that's
think
it.
so.
But they show literally about two professions. Like you're either in a fucking wand shop or you're working you're working as a goddamn pencil pusher.
Yeah.
Just a magical rat on the fucking wheel,
Where
just
are the like magical pro surfers and whatever? That's the
I think Kelly
Yeah.
Slater was a magical pro.
yeah. That would be cool if that's what this game is. It's like California games, but they're all magic based, and they're all stuff that we haven't seen in the books or movies.
you
Yeah,
play in the
okay.
Harry Potter world and you're a wizard, but because you're competing in a human surfing competition, you're not allowed to use your magic.
right.
So you just have to get really good at surfing.
Yeah.
A lot of surfing practice.
Do it the real way. But then, like
Learning
at
how to-
night when
yeah.
you go home, you just pick up a cup with magic
Yeah.
and bring
Sure.
it towards you.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really help.
It's like a mini game. It's like a mini game that you just do over the loading screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was saying before, I've never been like a big Harry Potter fan or much of a fan at all, but
Of
the
anything.
idea of this does seem like it could be a cool game. Like based on the very little I've seen, I could be interested in playing this.
Any sort of vaguely different and unique setting for an RPG interests me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime, and I'm like, magic is not a new thing for it, but
No.
like this sort of clash with the modern world thing, like you were saying, I think that could be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, this video that I saw, he sort of said that it seems like sort of a bit like the game Bully, but with magic involved.
right,
Which
And
could be cool.
I think I maybe saw this. That somebody interpreted this from the video. That it looks as though if it was going to be set in the school, you would start in like the 5th year or whatever. And
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense for a game because you wouldn't want to go through all the thing of like, well, how do we have it? You be 13 and 14 in this world and have you sort of slow, like what are the stakes then? How do we make a child be the protagonist of this?
Yeah, sure.
I don't really think it would go too much outside the school, though. I mean, if you look at it,
But those movies do, the Fantastic Beasts ones.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
it's all
true.
outside of it.
No,
yeah.
to be fair, I have not seen any of them.
Oh, I've seen. Well, there's only one out,
Right.
and I've seen it, and it takes place in New York,
Right.
And it's not as interesting as you'd think.
right.
Yeah,
I never really liked any of the movies. I really liked the books back in the day.
I love the third movie. The first one with Gary Oldman,
Right.
and David Thewlis is great. It's directed by
Again,
Alfonso Cuarón.
You cannot make up names.
I would think that it would be, even if it is set around the time frame of like pre the movies, to tie into the current movies.
Yep.
God, it would still for having the appeal of like getting Harry Potter fans in. It would need to be predominantly Hogwarts because that's the bit of it that people are invested in. From the is like, oh yeah, Wizard School.
People will want to know what house they're in, what their Patronus is.
If you were
all of that shit.
A character in the Harry Potter world, you would still have a house that you went to. Setting up at the character creator, it would be like, well, when he was in school, was in Slytherin or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you'd have those would be the 4 classes. I guess is you'd have the Harry Potter houses be.
Yeah.
I bet you know what it is. I bet it's like you do your character designer thing, and then you don't pick your house. So it's like based on there's parameters based on like what you choose, and then you go do the sorting hat, and it picks it for you because that's such a big part of like the books and the films.
That's like the Elder Scrolls games have that option for setting up your character of like answer these different moral questions or whatever. Like you see a thief robbing someone. Do you kill the thief and take the money for yourself? Do you kill the thief and help the person? Do you run away?
Yeah.
And that it's exactly what you're saying.
I hate those kind of things because I'm such a loose cannon. I'm such an unpredictable guy that I'm like, I do not feel catered for by any of these questions. You know?
Dude, I kill the thief and shit myself.
Go home and blog about it. Thank you very much. I think just it being so in the books and the films, the mainline Harry Potter things, they are, they're going to their classes and then they're getting into like, little mysteries and little adventures kind of outside of their schooling. So
this description of what Harry Potter is.
But I'm trying to think how it could be schooling based, but also have kind of adventure elements.
It's Persona 5 or any of them. That would be a good model if they were going to do that style of thing.
Yep.
So almost mini-gamey kind of stuff where you're leveling up and learning these spells and all that stuff, but then going outside the school grounds to see. Because you can see in this trailer, in this footage, that there's like bits of them in caves and all this kind of stuff. So presumably venturing out into the outside world.
That's caving class.
In the Harry Potter games that there have been, none of which have I think there was one on like the Game Boy that was a sort of an RPG based on the first book. But I'm not
So they
sure.
kind of all suck, don't they?
I think all of them were pretty much bad.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, though, did only happen in Hogwarts, but it was almost like that place is so almost designed in the books to be like a perfect place for a Metroidvania type of game to happen. That you could do it that way. It could all take place in Hogwarts.
Yeah.
And I think that people have moved beyond being interested in just Hogwarts as well.
Sure.
That's been so covered in all the Harry Potter stuff that if you wanted to entice people in, you beyond.
I still think nostalgia-wise, that's where, in terms of it being that big pop
you
culture
have
force,
Hogwarts in it. You
Yeah,
have
you
to go
gotta-
to Hogwarts.
yeah.
Maybe you got to have it in there, but also like everyone who was a super fan of Harry Potter is now like 30, so it can't just be a simple kids going to school game. It's probably should be a more typical modern day RPG,
And it makes sense. It ties in with the modern things.
Yep.
It expands the world. You can make if you're going to make an RPG, it probably makes sense to have it be on that sort of grander scale.
God, I'm just thinking
that's
about
what I
all
would
the
prefer.
fucking tweets we're gonna get about this when the trailer, when it all does actually get revealed. Oh, good one, boys! It'll be set in Hogwarts, will it? Oh God, I just flashed forward like 6 months and just the ats lighting up.
How well you do in potions class and stuff like that would mean you can make better potions.
Oh, what a jump!
That could happen. That's how they do it.
How did you figure that one out?
Mark my words, boys. Mark my words.
All your skills.
Let me finish that one for you.
All your skills will be called like defense against the dark arts
Yep.
and all the names of the classes there.
Lotions and potions. I think it's what it's called.
So
I'm also
yeah,
not a big Potterhead, by the way.
okay, that was going to be my question. Are you guys interested or excited about this prospect at all?
Yeah, I like.
Sure. I don't know.
A good game's a good game.
The footage
Yeah,
actually looked
exactly.
good. The footage looked a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Exactly, I agreed. Like the
Yeah.
footage to me looked like even if the Harry Potter books doesn't exist and it was like, hey, we've had this idea for a game where you're studying at Wizard School. It's like this looks like a cool concept for a game.
Yeah.
So if it's standalone enough that it's just like you don't have to. It's not just like the fan service of like, oh, this reference to fucking what's the stuff that they drink? Butterbeer?
Dumbledore's.
Double doors.
Butterbeer sounds right.
Grungle.
Yeah,
Town.
it's Grongletown.
Grongletown.
That's what they drink. Give me a cup of that sweet, sweet Grongletown, you idiot.
Yeah, that sounds so much less stupid than fucking.
Two things that are edible, butter and beer. I think it's butter. But yeah, I liked the Harry Potter books because the plots were well written in them, I think. And not necessarily the moment to moment, but like it was a good overarching story that happened throughout those books.
Yeah, I don't mind the movies.
And the characters were well done and that sort of stuff. In the books, I thought the movies weren't great.
Right.
But the books
The movie's kind of up and down.
It
I
was
think,
never
as a
the
series.
world, though, that was the interesting part of it to me. It was never the expanded thing of like, a gremlin.
Sure.
Look at him in the corner.
Yeah.
I think they're all kind of tonally pretty. They all kind of
They are
because they
very
changed
different.
directors so much, so
movies
that
were
they don't
all
feel
over the fucking
unified
place.
in any way. They don't feel like they're from the same series.
The ones that are similar are the most boring ones.
yeah,
I never really liked any of the actors
Oh, really?
in any of the jobs they did.
you don't like Daniel Radcliffe.
It's a good John Lennon, mate.
It wasn't meant to be Daniel. It was just meant to be a British person asking you,
Oh,
if you
British
whether or
person.
not you don't like Daniel Radcliffe.
Today, sir.
Yeah.
it's Christmas Day.
Now mock it all.
My name's Daniel Radcliffe.
Well, blow me down if that doesn't lead us nicely into the next bit of news we have to talk about.
Oh, boy.
Daniel Radcliffe, secretly from Texas.
Yeah.
The news has been revealed today. How does this lead into anything? Red Dead.
Ah, yes.
Wouldn't you know it? Once you thought about it for more than half of a second, the
Yes.
answer came into focus. So another gameplay.
What I said was
This
that
isn't
gonna be-
another
game.
podcast.
Gameplay
Yes.
trailer.
Yes.
For
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption 2. The second one of these
The second game in the
of the
series.
explanation-y trailers that they've put out. The second one of these 2 trailers that they've put out where like the woman goes, by the way, there's going to be a bunch of bears in this.
Yep.
And all that sort of stuff. I
The
don't...
woman narrating this it's starting to get very weird.
Yes.
I watched it and I don't remember a single detail from it.
I skimmed through it.
Yeah.
Right to the end with.
I don't have 4 full minutes. give me the cliff notes.
That's it.
There's cliffs in it. I'm in.
The first person stuff was featured in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed that.
Yeah.
And we've known about that for a while, but
We have.
it looked first person and it looked decent.
I think
Yeah.
it looked good. I think I've played first person cowboy games.
What
The
first person cowboy? Oh,
Call of
Yeah,
Juarez. And there's another one. And they were really fun.
Yeah.
But they weren't as
But you're not
deep or
going
as
to end up
interesting.
using it though because it's a game that's designed to be. I tried to play first person GTA.
And I loved it. though.
Yeah, I
Did
like
you really?
It. Yeah, I like it a lot.
I couldn't get on.
But
with
you're
it.
not into first person games.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
we play like a lot of like Fallout. We play a lot of first person
Yeah, okay.
games.
It felt like to me, it's like it's designed to be played third person, so it always felt a bit like
Yeah, the weapons in Red Dead 1 at least fire quite slowly. And I think
Yes.
that might make me not want to use the first person just because
Right.
I will probably switch between them to look at stuff from different angles.
Yeah.
But
I think it could be useful in the like shootout missions where it's really just like you're behind cover, you got to take all these guys out. I think it could be very useful there.
it sounds like because they gave a bunch of journalists, ourselves not included,
No.
like 5 hours with the first 5 hours of the game. And from all accounts that I've seen of that, it seems like the primary thing they're going for with this game is like make it immersive, make it like you get lost in it. And a
Yeah.
first person perspective for me does help with that sort of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Totally.
Walking through the woods, tipping your little hat at every badger you walk past.
Yes.
Oh, maroon.
What about in the game?
I'd see. Okay, yeah, that's the main thing I'm really interested to see how much that pays off because so far in these 2 gameplay trailers, with the lady voiceover being like, and you'll do this, and then this will happen, and I just out loud go, no, it won't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's really
sure.
trying to make you feel like, hey, this is a living, breathing world where like this has cause and effect, and it's like, no, it doesn't. Like, come
Yeah.
on, because we've all heard it a million times, and then it's the most like there was a thing the other day about there's 11 different breeds of horse. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
like
tell
who
me
cares?
which one's which.
Yeah,
They're all in
Yeah.
a line right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Point
Oh,
out which one's which.
and they've all got different characteristics. I bet one of them's slightly faster in a
Sure.
way that like someone will do a video measuring them all up, and it's like, oh, cool, that one gets you there 1 second faster.
Yeah.
Like,
In Final Fantasy VII, a game I don't know if you guys know I like, they had chocobos and they were literally different colors based on their abilities. So
Yeah.
like red was fire, but like I think green went over swampland, blue went
Describing
over
Captain
water.
Planet and the Planeteers.
Yeah.
And it'd be good if they had that much variation on them, but from the
And if they were different colors.
Yes.
the horses will be different colors.
Yes.
There will be a brown one and a white one.
Ah,
And a
sick.
black one probably.
Yeah, yeah.
And that'll be it.
Okay.
'Cause that's the only colors horses are.
Well, they should be green and red and stuff.
Nah. Disagree. If they focus on immersion for every part except like also the purple horse is if you pre-order the game.
Yeah.
It'd be a gold horse.
The thing that I'm worried about as well is they're like, oh, this crazy shit's gonna happen. Like going, oh,
That does sound worrying.
You might be running through the middle of the forest and all of a sudden you see a robbery and then there's 4 other types of things that happen and you'll
Yes.
see them all 30 times.
Look,
Yeah.
but that's what
that's
happened in the
fine.
first game.
Yeah, and it was a little after a point when you saw another person being hanged in the middle of the desert, you're like, "Fuck off, game."
Yeah, but that game was like what 20 years ago.
But this is the thing.
But surely it's more advanced than
I
that.
know.
Surely it's got to be
Yeah.
more subtle than
I'd
that.
hope so.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't care if it's not. I'm happy to play a video game where I don't need to be tricked into thinking that I'm actually out in the real world.
I do.
Sure, I do.
I want every time I turn the console off afterwards to go like, "Ah! What year is it?"
I'm gonna when Cyberpunk comes out and I play it with a VR headset. That is how I want to feel, and it will never leave that game.
And the point is that they're shooting for that as well.
Yes.
Like they're explicitly saying,
Yeah, exactly.
This is what this game will be, and that does set it up weirdly to fall short of that.
Yeah, I don't mind if it doesn't do those things, but it's this insisting and this really ramming it down our throats of like, oh boy, you are not going to know if you're looking at the TV or out a window
Sure.
and in the past.
Yeah.
Because the stuff they're saying as well of like, if you eat too much, you're gonna get fat, like in San Andreas,
Which
and
I
you never
loved.
paid attention to.
No, I love San Andreas is the best GTA game for that stuff. It's so
It is, but
customizable
But none of
and
it really mattered.
it made me feel immersed in the world. It genuinely did. The more clothing customization options you have, the more immersed I am. I'm into it.
It makes me feel like it's more realistic if the character wears one uniform that they stick to because they found their look, and whether it works or not, they're sticking to it.
So if there's a Kmart that you can go and buy shoes from in Red Dead, but that's it, that's your only customization
Yes.
option, you'll be on board.
I
Yeah.
want to wear that little farting dog on every pair of cowboy chapless boots that I wear. Chapless boots.
I'm waiting for the onslaught of 1 billion Kotaku headlines that are just like, someone's found a way to put Mambo t-shirts into Red Dead Redemption. You know, there'll be all these dumb mods that spring up that for some reason each and every unique mod demands its own headline on Kotaku. They
yes.
love it.
Shoot, Barney the dinosaur in Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, and this probably isn't news to you guys because you've played the first one, but I had not seen any of this in the context of this game before.
It's cowboy now.
Cowboys, yeah!
Nice.
Yes.
I reckon the campsite just went up at that one. They fucking had a ball.
I got a little Betty bonus in that one.
The what's it called? The slow motion kind of aiming thing.
Dead-eye.
Dead eye.
Yeah, but did she say there's like a newish where you can kind of mark?
That was
No,
in the
that-
first
that-
one.
That's in the first one. Okay,
yeah.
now that looks cool. I didn't know. You know, I've never played
It
the
was
first
good
one.
in the-
Yeah,
Looks
it's
really
cool.
It was so clever because it fixed the problem of shooting with these inaccurate weapons.
Yep.
And like from horseback and shit, which is really hard to do with a control stick that you can't. So
Yep.
being able to actually feel like you could be a competent gunman.
So like the loop was like you could sort of have aim assist and snap to enemies and shoot without that, and it would build up your meter every time you did that.
Right.
Once it was full or half full or whatever, you could use it to get more difficult targets.
Right.
But also like there was duels, and it was useful to like pick out weaknesses and like little spots and shit, and you could
Yeah.
ragdoll them, and yeah, it was cool.
And
Cool.
all that stuff that they're kind of going like, look at all this crazy shit in the second game. Was most of it in the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're doing a good job. Like, I'm not down on the game.
It's just a high bar.
Yeah,
they've
I'm
set for
really,
themselves.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited for it. But you know, it's like one of the most popular games of all time. It's fine to just go, hey, it's another one of them.
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Totally. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Again, Die Hard 2 style. Just like, how can the same shit happen to the same cowboy 3 times?
Yeah.
But yeah, not too long now. Not too
Yeah.
long. Like
Three, 4
weeks.
weeks?
Yeah.
October 26th.
Hell yeah.
Which I guess is why it's a little weird to be putting out a video like this with these details now. It's like, we'll get it soon enough. Like,
yeah.
Well, then the other thing with that game that I didn't realize is that the online, similar to GTA 5, I think initially, is coming out like a fair bit down the track. Down, it's going to mosey on down the path.
Down that dusty trail.
Well, what's that I see over the horizon? Well, if that isn't my good friend Beckersless multiplayer
more Die Hard. Love it.
on Skesamos multiplayer. That's what I
Hello,
think.
it's John Lennon. I'm here to play.
Every old-fashioned Western name was always like Constantoclus. They
it?
almost sounded like Greek. You know, like the old kind of guy.
In
who owned the
every
bar.
one.
Yeah.
How many old style westerns have you seen?
I guess one, and it was in Greek.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that game looks good. But all this stuff, they're sort of going like, how crazy is this shit? You can wear a hat, and then the hat falls off. It's like, okay, Mario 64.
I don't know. I'm just like, I loved Far Cry 5 because of the setting.
Yeah.
That alpine sort of shit. And it was fun to just muck around in that because of that. It was so well depicted and it wasn't that deep.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't seem like it is going to be as deep as this is.
I'm totally into walking through a forest with good wind sounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Drink!
That's a new low.
But like The Witcher did that really well, where I would just stand in the woods
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
fucking
same.
watch the trees blow around, and I'm looking forward to doing that in Red Dead.
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. This is going to be huge either way.
Yes.
Like,
I reckon it'll flop.
yeah, it's inconceivable that it's not one of those ones where it's like the embargo breaks and it's just like a smooth 97 on Metacritic. Or
Yeah.
whatever
Red
it
Dead
is.
Redemption 1 is the last game I can remember getting earlier than the release date. at
Me
a
too.
shop.
It's actually the only game I've ever done that with. I saw it on like Whirlpool forums or something.
Yeah.
It's broken street date, and I went
Yeah.
straight down and bought it.
It sort of never
Yeah.
happens now, does it?
I think Rockstar must have gone like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And like everyone got kind of angry at them after that.
But heaps of games did. Like, I remember...
They always used to do it. And Red
Yeah.
Dead was the sort of the last one I can remember it happening with.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I don't know what the cutoff... I guess it's just like, like shops being a bit more savvy now.
Yeah.
Like, it really starting to become a bigger and bigger industry of like...
Well, especially now that there are those games where you can pay $100 instead of 50 or whatever and get it 5 days early.
Yeah.
yeah.
And just general pre-order stuff, pre-order bonuses,
Yeah.
preloading games in digital. Like, it's all different, man.
Yeah.
It's all different.
Dude, the world's changed. But not here in the Old West. Me and my friend Homunculus Jones.
This one's Strawberry Fields forever.
I remember people telling me that they're like hearing some stories of people like going into whatever JB and just managing to sweet talk the person at the counter and be like, "Hey, you got any? That's out in a couple of days. Are they sitting out the back right now?" And then
Wow.
going, "Yeah," and just managing to just luckily get someone who doesn't know how it all works. Be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I'd love to just get one now if that's okay," and then go, "All right."
Wow.
And then clearly there's now just like there must have to be store-wide. Absolutely under no circumstances.
Release dates have become more of a thing for every form of media as well, though, I
Yeah.
think. Like, nobody used to give a shit when a VHS came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose. Maybe they did. But I feel like it was just also nebulous that it's like, it's out around now.
It's
when you get the shipment.
It's out 9 months from the like. It was
Yeah.
everything was so late.
Especially in
you-
Australia where you get it later than the rest of the world
Exactly,
as well. By the
yeah.
time it came out over here, it was like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, it was harder to be constantly aware of what the release date is too.
Yeah.
Like you can be out now going, when does that game come out again? And Google it on your phone instantly. Whereas previously it was like, well, unless you had the magazine right in front of you or
And
you
even
had...
then it'd say March.
Yeah.
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 Man, I remember, I used to just, not specifically knowing when something would come out and being in like Kmart or whatever and just seeing it on a shelf and going, oh, fuck, it's out. Fuck.
Yeah.
I hadn't saved enough pocket money yet. Like,
Oh God, not here, not now. That's right, listeners. We grew up in the Wild West.
but just, having that thing of just like, fuck, I was not prepared for this.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's out now. I don't have enough pocket money yet. Fuck, I've fucked it all up. Everyone hates me. It was a great
this is
time.
becoming more relatable.
Technology's really ruined everything.
Yeah.
Also, what is there? There's a thing that you found, Ben, about a new cloud service.
Yeah. So we talked on the show previously about Nintendo.
Have we?
Once or twice, too many times. They did this cloud streaming thing with Resident Evil Biohazard
Seven, yeah.
initially.
And they're doing it with Assassin's Creed Odyssey as well.
Yes.
But only in Japan.
But only in
Yes.
Japan.
And so you have to do those ones. I know we're going to talk about a different thing, but you have to download like a demo of it first to establish whether or not you've got a fast enough internet connection before it'll let you buy
Oh,
it.
yeah, right.
And even then,
if it
you're
let
only
you-
renting it.
Right.
Like
yeah,
you
you're buying
can't
a
then play it on the
license to play
cloud
it.
forever. I think you get it for like a few months or something.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, Google are doing this as well.
It's so weird. Like, yeah, they're doing another game streaming service where you can. They're only demoing it now, so
It's
details.
called Project Stream. It's like a big.
How did they come up with that name?
I kind of admire them for doing it.
It's pretty crazy that they haven't already had a Project Stream.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's a big open beta test. Basically, I do think for this, you just tell them like how fast your internet is and all that shit, and they're like,
Well, 'cause
okay,
you're not buying anything. I think that was the thing on the
Yeah.
Switch is that because you were having to give them money, they couldn't then not deliver the promised product.
totally.
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
this is free. You just have to pass the tests and stuff like that. A series of
Yeah.
escalating difficulty.
If you come across a thief,
But yeah, this is interesting. Like this Nintendo stuff was Japan only because of that internet speed issue that affects us.
yeah,
But Google, obviously, it's a global company with a global focus. It's
They
based
got
in
some
America.
fucking infrastructure behind them.
They got that infrastructure, and they've always wanted to be a player in the games market. It seems like they've sort of been pushing Google Play a bit more, and as Apple has fallen away because they did not succeed at all with their
There was that
efforts.
Apple TV that you could play games on
Yeah.
that felt like that was them dipping their toe in the water.
Well,
and
that's
no one
the weird
gives
thing
a
with all this
fuck.
streaming
Yeah.
stuff that Google wants to like the details of it aren't out there. What you can sign up to do now is test with like one game or whatever.
Yeah, with Assassin's Creed Odyssey as
Right.
well. Yeah,
So obviously they want to work out, pay us however much money, and you can probably play this library of games streamed or whatever, or maybe one at a time, or however it works.
or it's like because the whole thing with this is the servers wherever on the back end are the things that'll be the most critical. It's like,
Yeah.
are they fast enough to stream
Yeah.
this game to you? What service are you going with? Which one's the best?
So do you remember like the Phantom, the comic book?
Hell yeah.
the console, and there was like another one that I forget the name of. But there have been a few of these boxes over the years where the whole idea of it is like, this isn't a console, this is a streaming box. We have the consoles in server racks.
Right.
You pay us to play, and they've all been non-starters.
Right.
None of them have ever really panned out or worked properly. And obviously it's because it was years ago, and so that the technology was different. But also, I wonder if this is just a tree that can't be barked up.
Maybe. It feels like the internet's only going to get better, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think it doesn't feel like it's at the point that it needs to be, though. For
Especially
us.
Yeah,
for games
big time.
where
Yeah.
it's obviously you can do this with movies already, but like the timing that you need for a game to be enjoyable and how quickly it can feel bad
Yeah.
to play a sluggish game. It like, especially in Australia, but like maybe anywhere, it just isn't. And ultimately,
It would have to be perfect, right? It'd
Yeah.
have to be 1-to-1. The internet would have to be perfect.
And then
But
what's
think
the
about-
pricing structure to make it worth it versus actually owning the game or having one of the sort of like Xbox Game Pass type
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
You could probably play it on just a computer, so that's some money out of the way already, or on an iPad or whatever. But
Yeah.
Think about like 10 years ago,
Maybe not on
the
iPad.
likelihood of being able to get like a decent streaming service to work on what the internet was then, it would have been, pretty jangly and pretty.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, yeah, definitely in this country, like there's a case to be made that still is what is happening in certain parts of the country and certain internet connections that you might have or whatever. But it's like we said when we talked about the Nintendo trial of it with Resident Evil. If the internet does get good enough for this to become commonplace, well then it won't matter what. Hardware won't matter anymore. Like so consoles specs will become irrelevant. Like if you're just having a little box that you're streaming from a remote location, it can just get as you can just have as good a graphics and everything as you want without the need to ever upgrade what you're playing it on at your home, which is a pretty exciting prospect.
Yeah.
Not for the people that manufacture hardware whose livelihood depends on it.
Yeah.
I mean, then they still got to sell a whole bunch.
They got to
of
sell
box.
screens. They got to sell controllers.
Well, and
Yep.
machines to these server racks that are serving up all these games
Yeah,
too.
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Where's that coming from? Huh?
Yeah.
The fucking ether? Magic? Maybe the Harry Potter RPG, but we don't even know if that's real.
Yeah. But that would be great. By the way, that would be great if it all turns out that that's fake. Just a very, very great con job.
Fuck.
This was footage of Oblivion. I don't know how you got confused. It's like the idea itself, having Netflix for games, is something we've been talking about for fucking ages, and is a solid idea, I suppose, but there hasn't been a good implementation of it yet.
Yeah.
Really, like Game Pass and that sort of stuff where you can download the game is decent.
The Xbox thing is the closest thing to it, I guess. Like having a huge back library and then getting new stuff thrown in on top of that is pretty
You get
great.
some new stuff, like the Microsoft stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Their
I feel
version,
like-
but like that's just kind of like the equivalent of like, Netflix originals, I
Yeah.
guess. Of
Yeah.
like, well, now we're making new stuff for this platform that you can only get here.
It feels like for some countries where the internet is fast enough, this is just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It absolutely makes perfect sense financially and for the consumer as well. It's like, yeah, cool, of course this is what should happen. But for countries like Australia and for developing countries without the internet that even we have, it's just not possible. There's got to be hard copies.
Well, I'm still fucking wandering around the place buying discs because I don't want to have to download all that money, and also they're a lot cheaper than the digital versions.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of it is to do with the data. Like I got Forza Horizon 4, which I was planning to talk about on this episode.
Yes.
But then it had 18 gigabytes of downloads on day one to do, and
Yeah.
so I haven't fucking played it yet.
Yeah, that's
Which
crazy.
for anyone in and probably like most of the developed Asian countries and the USA, 18 gig is nothing.
Yeah.
Like that's half an hour of
me,
downloading time. But
I
for
got
us,
to walk down to the fucking well 6 miles away, pull out some data.
Yeah.
But I've played about an hour of it, and so far I can confirm that there are cars.
Yep.
And it takes place in the United Kingdom.
Interesting.
Ah,
Interesting.
yes.
And it seems good, and the Forza games are fun. The
Yeah,
Horizon
so
ones
you're a fan of the
specifically.
previous. Have you played
They're
all
sick.
of them? Right.
They've been
I think I
basically
played
like
2.
the banner games for Xbox for a while, right?
They're really
Yeah.
fun. They're like the sort of spiritual successor to like Project Gotham or
Right.
something like that. Where
Was the last one the Australian one? Right.
yeah.
Right.
And yeah, this one seems great. It looks fucking amazing, and it's the same exact structure as the others, where you're doing races, driving around an open world, building up points to get better and improve your cars, and then eventually win the ultimate race,
Right.
which is the race to the grave. But
Okay, this sounds like our cult leader sim.
Yeah.
it's and like it's
And
got
what house are you in?
the Senate,
Okay.
Nice.
the upper house.
Yeah.
The radio stations are sort of British and fun. Not all the music is British, but the announcers.
Well, I mean,
are.
they're allowed to listen to stuff from the rest of the world.
No, Brexit happened, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Brits only.
It's Arctic Monkeys and nothing else.
I'd
The
be
Arctic
fine with
Monkeys
that.
can do a cover of an American song.
Oh,
There we
yeah,
go.
sure.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I will always love you. Whatever. That
was good.
I
No,
thought
that
I'd be
was
able to
actually
do the voice.
good. Yeah.
It's just because I did the melody from Marty Bum.
What if they did? What would it sound like, Adam? And I pray you'll indulge me. If the Arctic
And you pray that I won't.
if the Arctic Monkeys, specifically their lead singer, did Uptown Funk.
Well, Uptown Funk. The answer is I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, and the countryside looks great. The whole thing is like seasons, but I haven't really seen all that shit play out yet because it's on like sort of you go through the seasons once, I believe, towards the start of the story, and then it's on a weekly timer where it'll change for everybody.
Seasons
So, like,
change.
yeah.
Is that song in there?
Week
Yeah.
1 of
Well, it's not
October
British,
is
so-
Yeah, but he
whatever
said there's
month.
non-British stuff in there.
Oh, yeah. No.
And I hate it. And I'm not going to talk about the non-British stuff.
Only
Okay.
covered by the
I
Arctic
think-
Monkeys.
Like, I've seen the track list for it, and I think it would be cool if there was a bit more focus on British stuff,
Yeah.
particularly with like the hip hop and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
like there's no fucking like grime in there.
That
It's-
seems like an oversight.
right.
No Dizzy
Yeah.
Rascal.
Look who's come around to my way of thinking.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
No.
Look who's joining the fold. Have a sip of this. It's
lame,
it
mate.
seems good. Those games have such a formula to them now that like it's pretty easy to see where it's going. But it seems
Yep.
like it has a sort of fun vibe to it again, and I'm into it. I'm going to play more and talk about it in the next episode.
Excellent.
Yeah. For now, my only critique is the fact that I live in Australia.
Yeah, I haven't played anything new this week. Mega Man 11 came out, which I was thinking I'd go in on, but it's the reviews are good,
Yeah.
but saying that it's just a bit more Mega Man. And I've just got such a backlog at the moment that I've
You know,
I've got to cut myself off for a bit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected that Mega Man 11.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's like the previous 10, but newer.
But it's got kind of a newer. I think because 10, I think 9 and 10 had like a retro look.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first one in a while, or maybe the first. No,
7 and 8, I think. This looks like 7 or 8.
Okay,
Sort of-
right.
Maybe 8 was on the PS1 and looked a bit like this.
which if it had more of a retro look to it, I probably would be more interested in it. If
Right.
it kind of looked like the old games, like I don't love
I
this.
think I would be less
Same.
at the moment.
Same. Yeah, I'm kind of over retro stuff. I haven't played Dead Cells. I'm not. I just want new shit.
I want to look at the future, man.
I
Yeah.
generally am too, but
Looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2.
this just looks, I don't know, it doesn't look quite all the way there new
Right.
enough. It's
Right.
like it's pretending to be, I think that's kind of a thing that I've seen in reviews of like, well, it looks new and flashy, but it's just doing a lot of the same old stuff. So it's like, well, if it's going to do a lot of the same old stuff, well then
Yeah.
my feeling is I would prefer that it just, look this, but anyway.
Yep.
So
Change
yeah,
it up after 11, man.
Yeah.
Number 11. Yeah.
12, probably my turn to go back in, I reckon. I have though played a little bit of I think number 2 on my little Famicom Mini that I got in Japan.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, fuck me dead, just so hard.
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
games are brutal.
I think 2 is the only one I have played, and yeah, it's super, super hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
fun, like really satisfying and
Yeah.
rewarding.
I've
Right.
only ever been able to play them on like an emulator where you have the rewind function.
Totally.
Oh.
So I can just undo every mistake that
Yeah.
happens, which is I've never gotten better. It's me rewinding the intro screen again. Which button start?
Yeah, start game. Oh fuck!
What do you mean press it? Like pressure it?
Wait, who made this? I need to see the logo again. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, team. I'm not brought anything to the table this
Dude,
week.
Well-
you should have played about 40 minutes of Forza like I did.
Speaking of playing about 40 minutes of a game,
Yep.
I started playing a game that I was really excited to start playing, Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay.
An isometric role-playing game in the style of Baldur's Gate, a little bit Diablo as well.
A little bit rock and roll.
I'm playing on the console version,
Yeah.
which is the thing that came out recently.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish I was playing it on a PC.
Is it not made for a controller?
It's so slow and sluggish and hard to select things on the screen.
Are you doing like a Destiny style moving the cursor around?
There is
type
that,
thing?
but that also is slow and imprecise somehow.
Right.
It's like sluggish.
Well, I've never
and
liked the Destiny ones. That I fucking hate using them.
It's worse than them.
right.
It just feels like I should be pointing and clicking, and it's making the experience not enjoyable, and I don't want to keep playing it. So
Huh.
it's a real shame.
That is a shame.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
basically
goddamn shame.
would not recommend buying it on console, but it seems like something I'd love on PC. So that's my review.
You're doing all right though. You can double dip. You can buy it again on PC.
Well, no, because I only have my Mac, and it's probably not quite good enough
Okay.
to run it.
Your
The
life
end.
sounds awful. Well, I guess that's pretty much us done for the week.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas.
Yeah.
I'm still playing Tomb Raider, and I still like the things that I liked about it before, and it's still kind of tedious.
Yeah, I
in
nearly
every
finished
other
Tomb
way.
Raider, but I'm still bored of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know what's wrong with me.
yeah, boy. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I still think if you like the previous two, play it because it's
But
very
this is
similar.
the weaker of them, I think, as well.
Yeah, even so,
Yeah, it's like it's the definition of fine.
I'd say like the Rise of the Tomb Raider is like a 9 out of 10, like
Mm-hmm.
really good. This is like a 6.5,
Okay.
6.8. You know,
I'd
it's
probably
fine.
subtract 2 from each of those.
Yeah, yeah.
7 and a 4.5.
Very good.
You've
very
nearly
good.
finished something that you rate a 4.5 out of 10.
Dude, I'm a 4. Nothing wrong with being a 4.
So you playing this game is you batting out of your league.
Only a little bit though.
Well, yeah, we got to wrap it up for another week.
We do indeed.
Next week we are going to be back with a
A big
Bumper
one.
episode.
Yeah.
big one.
A good episode.
Let's hype this in the hopes that our plans for it don't completely fall over.
Yes.
we will be reviewing one of the releases of of this weekend with a special guest.
Yes.
A fan favourite, I believe.
Yes. Wonder who she or he is.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. Lots to talk about next week.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey will probably both be playing Nox.
Yep. I'm definitely going to... I dropped off of Origins really quick, but the Greek setting is much more interesting to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And people, early word, really into it.
Yeah.
According to the...
I'm going to do
listed
more
review
Forza, a little bit of that Assassin, and some Super Mario Party.
Baby.
The big three.
We are going to be at PAX on October the 28th at 5 p.m. in the Ibis Theatre doing a live kind of a wrap-up of the weekend of PAX. We're going to have a couple of special guests that we confirmed today, and they're both great.
Yeah.
People will be very happy with those, so that's going to be really fun. We've also got our premium episodes over at Bandcamp, which is where we pick a topic or a series, mostly a series, and we kind of talk for like a couple of hours at a time.
Yeah.
And you can get all of them for each whatever you want to pay. I think minimum $1.
Minimum a US dollar.
Yep. Patreon, if you want to support the show and get some bonus content and be in our Facebook group where we are interacting with folks in there.
Yeah.
Having a good old time.
$5 a month for the Facebook group, $10 for the bonus episode. We just did Prince of Persia, and that was a good, fun episode.
Yep. Filthycasuals.com.au is where you can find all that stuff. Hit us up on the socials, guys. Send us an email. We always love hearing from you folks. We'll see you next week. But until then, as we say here at the end of every episode...
The real cult was the friends we made along the way.
Not bad.
I Googled cult quotes and nothing came up, so I just
I'll drink to that.